Hi, everyone. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the following podcast belong solely to the host and its contributors. They are not necessarily the views of our employers, organizations, committees, or other group or individual.
I'm David Campbell.
And I am Jordan Bullock.
And I'm Joseph Whitney. This is Brewing with BIM,
where we talk about construction processes, technology, BIM, and beer.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brewing with BIM. I'm Joe Whitney, and with me as always is Dave Campbell. What's up, Dave?
Hey Joe, back again. Another episode, actually last episode. We saved the best for last. And yeah, we saved the best for last of day 3 for AU. Super excited. You know, again, guys, we've had awesome, amazing guests. As Joe said earlier, we've had amazing guests on the podcast all throughout these 3 days of AU. And today's no different. Guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Gentile. Landscape architect, design technologist, AI enthusiast.
All right, heck yeah.
All right, yeah. Colin Stanley. I'm a registered architect and, design technology director at our company. So,
okay,
Chris and I work together.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately for him.
I thought it was the other way around.
Colin, you have been in the industry a while. That's my way of calling you old without calling you old.
I've got the grays.
Yes. You've worked
silver fox beard.
You've worked. We've got a lot of mutual friends. You've been in the industry. You've crossed paths with a lot of people and worked at some great companies. And now you're changing things up for this industry.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got into it. What your path was.
Well, so I started as an architect. Healthcare was my focus. Hospitals and all of the good stuff that goes along with that. A little bit of aviation, and then kind of, worked, I guess, for a couple of years. Realized I did not like AutoCAD. Thought there had to be a better way. Kind of a similar story to a lot of people. So around the Autodesk acquisition of Revit, so about 2002, that's when we started pushing, and it's been that way ever since. But I think now things are really getting interesting in the way that I look at the career path, because I've been on the architecture side. I've done a little bit on the construction side, and now with landscape architecture, it's sort of a little bit of a blue ocean, something a little bit new, and it's pretty exciting.
Heck yeah. Chris?
That horizon goes all the way over to it. Yeah, so I got started in landscape, right after college, UW grad from Wisconsin. So came down to Texas right after and have been there since. Started with SWA Group. It's a big firm. Had most of my kind of professional experience has been on that, but I was actually kind of working on 2 hats on that. I was a designer, and that's how I kind of got into, finding easier ways to do things, coding, automation, that kind of stuff. And I hopped over to TBG as their digital design manager at first, and told them that's not a thing. Design technology manager now, so very, very happy. And like Colin said, it's a blue ocean.
Yeah, dude. Now I feel like landscape architecture, that's been one of the redheaded stepchildren of BIM for a long time. We've tried Revit workflows, there's Rhino, there's CAD, there's a mixture of everything, but it's like, what have you guys found to be good, good practice or good for your, workflows in BIM?
Yeah, I mean, it's still an ecosystem. You're still using all the tools because we're
there's not one solution.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
there's no
never.
point solution.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, but we're extremely happy with how the ecosystem of Autodesk is, really kind of blurring the lines of interop and data exchange and stuff. So it's been it's been great kind of having that single source of truth. But, yeah, it's still a mess. You know, we're still using CAD and SketchUp, but our direction that we're going is Revit and BIM.
Yeah. Now I did hear, I don't remember if it was you guys or not. I thought somebody came up. I thought it was one of you. Told me about Rhino. Yeah, dude, that's pretty exciting.
Rhino has always been a superior 3D modeling program, and again, with its interop that Autodesk is making with that, it's kind of our
like Forma, right? Wasn't it?
Forma is another one that has game changed, and from AU this week, the stuff that they're putting in Forma is just incredible.
Yep.
So
we're
really excited about that.
Yeah,
because the ecosystem, it's very hacky. Right?
Yeah,
and it's almost like the early days of BIM when we were hacking together all kinds of different things to make it work right.
What did they call it? It was like it's a rally car. It's like just get over the finish line and
build it while we fly it. But those are the kinds of things that really they kind of fill my bucket, I guess, a little bit is the figuring out the puzzle.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
And
the challenges.
The landscape architecture workflow is also a little bit messy, right? And so that's probably part of the reason that it's been difficult to.
It's definitely dirty. That's for sure.
It's definitely
It's the earth.
We like it dirty.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, though, in landscape architecture. It's not just, a pretty green space of, curved lines of with paths,
retaining
and
walls.
There's
curves,
plantings and
sidewalks.
schedules, and there's I know some people do like the water features and all that kind of plays into it. It's kind of a mix of multiple disciplines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's specialists and stuff. Like, we need an irrigator. If we're doing an advanced water feature, definitely get an aquatic engineer on. So that's all kind of very important stuff.
Well, and shade structures. I mean, so we've got, perfectly legitimate, architecture proper use cases, lighting, all of those kinds of things.
Yeah. The funnest part, I think, in working in that multidisciplinary world is working with fabricators. Not proper architects, and it's not, building. It's just basically a structure, shade structure thing. Working directly with them has really been, especially personally from Houston. So in the Houston market, you get some really good, some blue collar labor there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like shade structures have been on the rise a lot lately too. I mean, you're seeing them in zoos and a lot of different places. I mean, it's been awesome even to see the reuses of it, like the use cases for it. Like, I'm like, man, was that an old parachute up there? That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it goes a lot. Like it's funny, but when you start looking at how landscape architecture, like you mentioned, it goes across so many disciplines.
It does. We know landscape architects that actually specialize in zoo enclosures. That falls under landscape
Theme
architecture.
parks.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Dude, that was actually one of the coolest projects I've worked on was that zoo project. That was awesome, man. And to see the way that they utilized Revit to create these rock structures, and they used curtain walls for the cage, the actual I can't say cages because that's not the appropriate term. But the habitat, exactly. Thank you. The habitat, like the actual enclosure,
the security enclosures.
Dude, it was awesome working with those
to keep people out.
Right. In all honesty, it's to keep Dave out because I see the kitties and I'm like, here,
Dave's actually been to a dog park here so far to go cuddle some.
Did you cuddle the puppies?
Yes, I did. Dude, it's a dopamine release for me.
Absolutely.
If they have puppies or if they have babies, I am snuggling them.
That's a little. Sir, please don't snuggle my baby.
That's right. I can't do that in public. It's okay. I'll just go snuggle my babies at home.
Yeah,
that'll work.
Enough of them.
Gosh.
So are you guys working? I saw you guys pointing at each other when we were talking about rocks and stuff. What's going on there?
So we've got some incredibly talented designers who do bring in work that is of the theme park kind of nature.
Ooh.
And so we've got some projects going on right now that, and it's challenging.
Yeah, that's a lot of structure. I mean, that's intricate, dude. That's a lot of weight, movement, force, different types of force too. Not your typical, like, it's not a building, man. That's a roller coaster with people on it, moving at this speed, curving around, like, man.
So are you doing like I'm imagining complex geometries and
Complex geometries, yeah, especially with rocks and
dude.
formations. Well, I think one of the other really big challenges that we've come across is actually not quite as much about the modeling, although that is a huge challenge, right, that we run into because it's large land areas and Revit complains quite a bit
I
with
feel like
topography.
SketchUp is probably a better fit for the surface modeling.
Maybe, maybe, but.
Oh, sorry, I meant Rhino.
There you go.
Yes, yeah.
But the
I don't know
interesting
why I
thing
said that. Yeah,
is
Rhino.
that we have requirements to meet ISO 19650 standards, and in those requirements, we actually are required to deliver Revit models even in pre-concept stages.
Are you utilizing any Dynamo scripts to convert Rhino to Revit? There's some package that exists already.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy like interop with it, and just linking in,
Well,
like
probably-
we just link in 3DMs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Colin,
Rhino inside.
That's probably also where you
Rhino
guys are
and
looking into Forma, right? Because I mean, there's a lot of that capability. Eventually, I mean, as it's getting there,
Yeah.
We actually have a buddy who works at the company you once worked at who wrote that Revit Rhino to Revit script for
Not conveyor, the Rhino inside, or the one that you're talking about?
The one for Dynamo, Travis Williams. He's a mad genius,
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
So, no, yeah.
Yeah, Dynamo's one of our tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
That's helped us kind of just onboard a lot of users that are kind of afraid of Revit.
Yeah.
Just initial project setup like that.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
Using full Python or
so the Python stuff. So I went back to UT Austin, got a certificate in AI and machine learning for business apps, but got a lot of Python out of there, and the APIs and stuff in Revit are kind of the next step for us. So
Yeah, the SDK.
that's a little scary.
Yeah, it is, dude.
But yeah, the APIs and stuff, and especially seeing everything with the Forma platform this week, I'm
Pretty
ready
excited.
I'm ready to dive in.
Well, and it's interesting. So we also do quite a bit of large land area, master plan, community kind of things that taking a good hard look again at Infoworks to see, how we might better apply that. Because we
SimCity for professionals.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
The interesting thing is at a shop our size, the Revit implementation is one step, but like really the barrier is infrastructure and hardware.
Yep.
And so some of these things are in place and they've prevented us up until now, moving that direction. So all of those challenges of modernization, I guess you could say, are there.
Yeah.
We can dive into the weeds in Infoworks eventually.
Yeah,
I can help you guys out with the model builder and then bringing in some GIS data.
Yeah.
I used to do workflow we have road scanners and stuff. So we would scan a road, then we'd even fly it, combine them, and recap. We would bring them to Infoworks, and we would use linear feature extraction to pick apart the objects.
Oh, cool.
Fun workflows. There was also another workflow for like bridge, where we would create a conceptual bridge in Infoworks. We'd press the magic button for it to go to Revit. It would use Inventor to create families based off the AASHTO standards.
Oh, wow.
And then we would have like link backs with Civil 3D and Revit if something moved. There's a lot of fun Infoworks workflows that I need to learn to figure out how to make it more useful to you guys, but I'm happy to go down that path.
Nah, dude, I really feel like Infoworks, like I said this yesterday, Infoworks is a very undervalued kind of software, and I really feel like it is the great aggregator for infrastructure.
It's the hub of data.
It is. It is such a good hub of data on top of a GIS database, man.
So we had a lot of this functionality in Civil 3D, but Civil 3D definitely struggles with large data sets. So anything over, I think it's 100,000 points.
That's easy.
When you zoom out.
Yeah, right. That's very easy.
Civil 3D just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So going to Infoworks first, or recap even, and then going to Civil 3D definitely makes it better at handling that data. Plus, it's just like you said, it's a fun UI for it's like SimCity.
Yeah.
It's
pulling
quick
your
surface
Revit.
creation,
It's very easy to get,
linear
yeah.
feature extraction, pulling that over into Civil 3D. or
Conceptually,
pulling it
just
into
draw a
Revit.
rectangle over the area you want to do. It uses open source data, gives you your 3D model to play around with.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and a few years ago, whenever we were playing with some of it, I think one of the fun things that people got some interesting use out of was how well it connects to the ArcGIS data sets, right?
Yeah.
And so I live in the city of Austin. The city of Austin does a phenomenal job of tracking their city assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go right out to ArcGIS, you got all the trees, and they are the trees, right? And they come with all the information, the heights, the everything, traffic lights, all of that stuff. And so it makes model building very, very fast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what we're interested in still is context.
Yep.
For visualization or for whatever.
View sheds, all that.
But kind of exploring some of this IoT integration that is there and seeing how we can,
dude.
Yeah, he's excited.
Smart
His eyes
cities,
lit
brother.
up, he's ready to go.
Smart cities.
And seeing tandem and stuff, I was like, all right, let's
dude.
go.
Right?
Let's
we
get
could start
tandem for
actually
landscape
making.
side. Let's go.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
For sure.
Like
Yes.
monitoring sustainability metrics and all
Yeah,
that. Like
monitoring
water
how
quality,
your
air
building is
quality.
affecting everything around you, dude.
Yep.
Like, how much are you pulling in? How much are you using? What are you?
You've been geeking out on the sustainability. Like we had long conversations
Yes.
about data and stuff. What are you envisioning in that space?
Again, I think it's just so new. There's massive opportunity in it. Forma's providing a lot of environmental analysis, but there's way more that we want to know.
Yeah.
And also, too, is like with our value, like our kind of projects that we're putting in the ground, we want to make sure that they're performing to what we sold our client on.
Right.
And then, hopefully tracking that information, having basically like a curated data set like that we can vet.
Well, and also tracking the people flow and the usage,
Yeah.
right? Like in the years past, we've had some of those things, but they're a little bit smoke and mirrors about kind of seeing how people flow through the space, what they're using more, where the load is. I think we'd be really excited to have legitimately correct data.
Actual data.
Yeah, not
Actuals.
just somebody doing a counter and then simulating that later
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
but actually getting the real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Doing that over like time and say like, hey, like this is what your average time is. And again, that data is just live feeding more predictive analysis, more making that data set even stronger. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and then tie in all those IoT sensors.
Yes, sir.
And there we go, man.
Yeah. Let's go.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is the dream, dude. In all honesty, like Joe and I were talking about it yesterday, when you look at putting up a new building or when you look at purchasing, because that's one of my big things. Like, I love new construction just as much as anybody else, but I also see and hear we're running out of space. Like, we have some of these buildings that just are dilapidated. They need to be updated. We need to go through. So as you start thinking about, we're going to rehash some of this, how can we use that data? But again,
Well, how can you make that building better over time? Add
Yes.
green
Yep.
spaces, vertical gardens.
Yes.
You do all this
yes,
sort of stuff.
but even then, dude, like we were talking about yesterday, like if you're looking at purchasing this building, if you're looking at building here, how is it going to affect, or what do you have, right? I think about an owner, and I'm like, I want to purchase. This was an old warehouse or an old restaurant, right? What equipment does this have in it? What does this building have for piping? When was it installed? What's inside of the walls, like insulation?
So almost doing something like that, similar for landscape architects, knowing what infrastructure is already existing, so you can figure out how
knowing
to
where the
revive
connections
the
are,
stuff.
like what the
water.
pull is, what the
Right.
capabilities
Oh, the water.
are.
Yeah, that's
Water.
Exactly, water, what you can put out, what your pull, because some of these places, dude, I'm getting passionate here because, man, I lived in this place, dude. I really loved it, but this place, they relied on other places for utilities, right? And they didn't understand as they were building their city how the impact of bringing in all these subdivisions, how it would affect their wastewater treatment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just think about that, right?
Oh, runoff and
oh
wastewater. It's all-
my
We've got some of
gosh.
those issues in fast-growing.
Dude, the taxes
Austin
went up
right
so
now.
much because they're like, oh, well, we can't do it. We have to send it to another facility, or we have to invest here. Oh my gosh, why wouldn't you think about this when you're planning?
Exactly.
Like, think about this, how it's going to affect everyone in this.
That's where GIS and having smart assets and being able to tie into it and do your planning really comes in handy.
Yeah.
I think Austin and most large cities, for that matter, do a really good job at tying in it. The trees is an interesting one because usually, like, surveyors will go out, they'll tag trees, and they'll be like, that data belongs to maybe an organization like a university, but it's never really been published to GIS. So Austin actually pushing it out is pretty exciting.
Well, the Parks Department, they also have a really good database in ArcGIS that tracks the public park, down to the hours of usage, where the boat ramps are, if they're being stocked yet, all of this kind of stuff. That's where they're keeping that data, and it's great.
And it's just a layer you get to pull down. Man.
Yeah. But to your point, some of this stuff, like my private passion is automotive, and restoring and customizing,
making better, dude. That's cool.
But when you're choosing a project, like when you're going out looking for a project car, like EV conversions, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of my passion.
Oh yeah.
You have to do a good job selecting you don't want to actually restore a vehicle from the ground up before you then electrify it. You want something that's kind of solid, like your building example.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I wish I'd have talked to you a little while ago, man.
Dave is a vehicle collector.
Oh, dude, I love cars. Yeah. I love cars. I just
He's never been good about buying them.
I know. Hey.
Or getting rid of them.
Yeah, that's the problem. I like them too much. That, and I see a gem, and I'm like, man, like this. I just bought a '66 Bonneville.
Oh yeah.
Convertible with the 389 in it. That car was amazing. That car was
plenty of room to
it was the
convert
right
to an EV,
decision.
bud.
That car was the right decision, man. That car runs and drives. I can put my family in it now. And
he's
go.
also got a
But
69 Mustang that.
this is 69, and this was my big mistake, man.
I might buy that from you here in a few weeks.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm trying to get rid of it now.
No,
at this
I've told
point,
you. We'll
dude.
talk. Yeah.
My problem was
I need it.
I saw this car, and that's my dream car, right? I love old muscle cars, the 68, 69 Mustangs, like
Chevy
that
GT500,
is
baby,
gorgeous, dude. Eleanor, man, it's my dream car, right?
Yeah.
So I go find this 69 Mustang.
Colin's not a Ford guy. You're boring him.
Yeah, right.
I am not a Ford guy.
Dude, I found this car, and I'm looking at it for what it can be. And I'm seeing it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy it from this kid. And this is going to be great. This is going to be my project car. I'm going to build this with my kids, and we're going to have this when they get older. And then I start getting into it, and I'm like, man, I got to cut the floor pans out of this thing. I got to replace the torque boxes.
It's a lot of work.
Oh my God, I'm not.
David didn't have a welder.
Right,
he has.
I don't even have a welder.
He's like, I have to bend brake lines. I have to reroute them. I don't know. It's like, Dave,
I'm trying to buy
you
these
got in
tools.
over your head.
Yeah,
buddy.
Not prepared.
Sell it to me. I have all these tools. Let's
Yeah,
go.
right.
I'll just cut new parts on my plasma cutter. And
Yeah,
we'll go,
dude.
man.
I was not ready for that.
Colin, you've got an interesting build, though. I don't know we're getting way off topic here, but your Blazer.
My Blazer, yeah, man.
That paint job on it is. It's primo. Keep that forever.
Yeah, so it's a 72 K5 Blazer that came with an extremely rare factory paint job, and it's called Sport Bird. And It's like these kind of Native American looking feathers that go down the side of the vehicle. But yeah, and eventually that one's going to get converted to electric too, I believe. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So what do you do for that, though? Is it like 10,000 pounds of batteries you're mounting to the bottom,
something like that?
Okay.
That one's probably gonna. I mean, I don't know. Guys are doing old Land Rovers, and so it's usually a Tesla motor and a full pack, battery, 16 cells, something like that, and little in the front, little in the back. Nice weight distribution.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Now, because I got to ask, at this point, I'm not going to lie, brother. I love electric cars. I love EVs. I love Teslas. I've been wanting.
Everywhere he goes, he gets a rental car. He's like, look, I got another Tesla.
I used to rent Teslas too, man. It's actually affordable.
It is affordable. It makes sense. Like most of the time, I'm like, am I going to rent a Nissan Versa or am I going to rent a Tesla?
Yeah, and then you got to pay the
Tesla, bro.
$50 fill-up charge.
Oh my God, yeah. They got me there. Hertz got me there. I'll tell you what. But you know what? Yeah, right. It did hurt. That's for sure. That's a good one.
That is
but
good.
That's one thing that's actually kind of. It's one of those things that, I feel like we're in that time right now where we're transitioning. A lot of people are looking at EVs, like they see it, like I see the value, but I'm also like, I see batteries. You know what I mean? Like,
Are they getting worked into your green spaces, by the way, like charging stations? Or no?
So I think there are some requirements on some of them, but I don't think it's been real heavy.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
no,
that just like I was like,
no, that was a good thought. That was a good thought. I was just meaning like that's one of the biggest things that scares me. Not really just being on a battery, but literally like how much of a cost is that, or a labor like to replace those batteries? Because when I get a used car, 72 Blazer, I get a 90s old 88, whatever it is, that thing has 150, 200,000 miles on it. And I could, obviously, I know what it could potentially cost, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to rebuild it.
No.
Whereas for, electric batteries, 10, 15, 20,000. What are you seeing there?
Well, so a lot of the folks that are doing this, it's not about efficiency, and for a lot of them, honestly, it's not even about the EV creds. It's because
it's a
of
hobby.
the hot rod mentality. It's we're going to do
Dude, I love
something
that.
different.
I love that.
Right?
That's awesome.
And everything's been LS to death, right?
Yeah.
So what's next? Let's do
Dude.
something fun.
Coyotes.
This is-
Yeah.
Put coyotes in your
No.
Chevys, guys.
No.
Come on.
No, well, this is
That's
such an interesting
blasphemy.
conversation because when I love speed, like I really do. I grew up on drag strips and stuff when I was a kid. And
all there was in
obviously,
Indiana.
yeah,
Speed
well,
boys.
corn, dude, corn and
Corn,
flat
dude.
roads. What do you do on flat roads? I mean, it's not doing anything.
We drink corn whiskey.
We drink
Go
corn
fast.
whiskey and we go fast.
Go
yeah.
for it. Sometimes we burn the corn whiskey.
Hell yeah, brother. But, dude. But, my thought process here, dude, is when I got in a Tesla, you hit the gas, it's instant acceleration. Even my Mustang, I had like 900 horse in that thing, and it was amazing. There will never be anything that will make my heart jump like that next level of horsepower, that scream that comes from it. But at the same time, I have to wonder, and I'm like, man, I feel like we've gone about hybrids all wrong. What about a hybrid for performance? What about an electric motor to start? Because the problem I have with electric cars is a lot of times once they hit that one point, they make that slow acceleration, that instant boost, that instant acceleration is amazing. Yeah. But once it hits that torque point, that's where a gas motor should kick in, where that torque, it's already torqued up, man.
What a great idea.
Yeah?
You should
That's
look
what
at
you're
Porsche.
doing? Porsche? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing?
Yeah.
So you're
A lot
telling
of
me
the
I'm going to
race
go buy a
cars now.
Porsche?
Yeah.
Well, and Ferrari's doing it too.
I can't afford a Ferrari. I can't
and
even afford a
as,
Porsche.
As
What am I
is
talking about?
Lamborghini, because they're getting their asses kicked all over the drag strips, all over the racetracks by some kid that pulls up in a new Tesla and just drove
Tesla
off the
Plaid.
lot.
Freaking Plaid, yeah. Dude, those things freaking ludicrous plus
the
mode.
cool thing about EVs, though, is, obviously they go fast and that's fun. But it's all technology. There's so many sensors. It's like, it's getting to a place where they're actually, obviously they're computers on wheels. They serve a purpose, but the whole automation part of it, the self-driving, all those IoT sensors that are built into the car, it's making
vision on it?
Yeah, the computer vision. It's making it more commonplace for us as consumers to be around all that stuff. Think about the phone, right? The phone did this for data, for apps, all that sort of stuff. But now the cars are starting to do that for us. John Deere tractors do the same thing.
I was going to bring that up because we're talking about the IoT and the integration, and we're looking at ag tech because of the way that the drones that they fly can identify what's getting water, what's not getting water, where's the runoff.
Yeah.
How do we
Hyperspectral imagery.
Yeah.
And then
a lot of all that stuff's Topcon sensors, by the way.
I know who to talk to.
Yeah, the John Deeres were Topcon GPS equipment, all in them from factory.
It's very advanced.
Yeah.
It's next level.
I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. The original self-driving cars that had the cameras for the big tech company, that was all Topcon too.
Really?
Yeah.
Bravo.
That's cool.
Can't say names, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the EV front, it's much like a building. It's giving us the kind of data feedback to improve, the roads, the driving, the experience, the everything.
Yeah.
End of life, the batteries in the vehicle, they become stationary storage because we need more grid balancing. You're now hooked into your solar panels and, move on down the line. But that, by the time you talk about, stationary storage from used EV batteries, that's already 20 years into the life of a battery.
Are you guys seeing grid balancing fit into the landscape, like solar panels popping up as part of green spaces and hiding that sort of stuff inside of your environments? Or
I mean, I think that's more of like an architectural feature.
Well, you see like on roofs and stuff, but I'm just trying to figure out,
I think we need to.
Yeah. Like
and I think we need to encourage it.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, though,
your shade structures.
Yeah, that's
the shade structure. But even like you look at some new 5G towers that are coming out, and they're shaping them like trees. Like it looks like a tree.
We were just
I mean, it's ugly as crap, but at
Exactly.
least it looks like
I'm sure
nature.
as a landscape
500-foot palm tree.
Yeah.
As a landscape architect, you guys are probably this is blasphemous.
It's ugly as
let us
crap.
design it. It could be better.
It's ugly
It's
as
like just
crap.
paint it blue.
Well, actually, there are some bad ones out there too. You know, in the neighborhood I used to live in Dallas, they were in the church steeples. Like you would see this big kind of mesh drum around a tall steeple. And I was like, are they paying rent for that? That's great.
Yeah, dude.
Whatever.
I see them in cities. It cracks me up when I see a freaking tree 5G tower in the middle of an urban suburbia, and I'm like, why would you not just paint it gray or something like? Just make it look like the surrounding area. There's no trees here, and you chose this to look. Yeah, okay, it's green.
Yeah.
Shade structure.
Shades. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, there's so much technology coming out. I feel like one thing that really, when I first drove a Tesla, that really blew my mind was when I was driving it. It had the recognition camera in there, and would show me other cars, stop signs, the road, the paint lines. I'm like, dude, as I'm driving 60 miles an hour, this is telling me. I mean, some of it is not. It's not perfect, but
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what, dude? I'm like, why do we not have this technology? This is nuts. It's processing. It's telling me exactly what's here.
Real time.
More
Yeah,
commonplace. I could see your wheels spinning when he was saying this, though. Yeah.
Colin's got a good story on that. Yeah, he's like, it's wrong all the time.
Oh, mine is wrong all the time. Yeah. You know, you see the little display and it shows the cars, and you're kind of like, okay, right now, I'm better off just looking out the window. But you know, whenever
Trust but verify.
Yeah. But when they're attempting to do some of the driving, you know, lane keep and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's helpful. I don't trust.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to auto summon. Come here.
Yeah.
He comes pick me up. In my watch. Come here.
Can it still be his voice? I mean, we've got enough
That'd be
of
awesome.
Mr. Feeney or
Gotta pay extra for that one.
I'm coming, sir. It'd have to have an
Hopefully.
Alfred voice.
It would have to be.
If it had an Alfred voice,
oh, hey.
hey, yeah.
No,
threw me off.
Well, Kit, the guy that did him, it was Mr. Feeney on Voice.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah,
That's
you're
right. You are right.
I think he
Yeah.
passed away, but
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, so I just call him Mr. Feeney.
Yeah, Mr. Feeney.
That was my childhood.
I like it.
So these IoT sensors, though, that are on cars and this vision that we're talking about, how, you know, obviously we can talk about water sensors and, you know, how often this is being used, but what does the vision side look like, you know, roping that sort of stuff into maybe landscape architecture?
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of, you know, making things better. It's kind of giving that second, you know, stepchild landscape architects to actually have more value. You know, having that kind of live data, that's a new service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you want to be the one doing it. You're the data guy now.
Who else?
Who else is going to do this? Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, and you know, talking about, I get stuck on the people movement. Talking about the people movement through a space. You know, what kind of sensors can you use that still gives, you know, some level of privacy, right? Anonymity and
biometrics.
We're not
you
trying
live
to
in
be the
Texas. All right, so there's a balance, right? Like you want this data, but at the same time, you don't want to.
Right.
I grew up in
Right.
Texas, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, it's for years there have been like the Microsoft Kinect sensor bars. You know, you kind of interact with them and do things like that. So those can see.
Oh, like Xbox?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
Microsoft, and I was
Yeah,
like,
Xbox.
what?
Sorry,
Xbox.
yeah. I was PlayStation. I haven't.
Me too. Well, I'm both.
I only had-
I go both ways with that.
Dude,
I love game systems in general. I'm gaming. I'm playing Fable one day. I'm switching over and playing God of War another day. Like, let's do it.
my limit was like I bought a PlayStation 2 way back only for Grand Theft Auto because that was my favorite game.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto is amazing.
My Xbox for Halo.
Spyro, dude.
Yeah. Open environments, kind of the Infoworks, model there.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny, dude, is I've always dreamed of having I love Madden. I love sport games because I grew up playing football. I love football. I always wanted a Grand Theft Auto Madden. Like, I want to go play football, but then I want to be able to go, like, free world after that. Like, let's do it.
So,
yeah, man.
So do Grand Theft Auto, but one of the missions is you got to go play this
You got to go to
game.
practice. You got to drive your car to go play practice, go to play football games.
You're getting a ticket. Run, go, go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're gangbanging on the side, Alex Hernandez style. Like,
Hey.
Aaron Hernandez, sorry. Not Aaron Hernandez, Aaron Hernandez style.
Oh, man.
That's good.
Don't you blaspheme my Patriots. I was a Cowboys fan when I lived in Massachusetts, and then I moved to Texas, and then I met what Cowboys fans were, and I was like, I guess I'm a Patriots fan.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
No, Tom Brady left the Patriots, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll like the Patriots again.
Oh,
I mean, they suck, but still, it's okay. now that they suck, I like them. It's all right.
Well,
My Colts still suck.
You got
too, though.
AR, man. Well, he's injured.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
be back.
Yeah, I'm hoping that kid does well. I'm hoping they can figure out how to protect him.
We're talking about sports and stuff. Do you guys do any stadiums or any green spaces that way?
We've done some, not during my time and stuff at TBG.
I don't have the history. I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
No, you know what's crazy
should do
though?
that.
Have you guys watched any football games recently?
I mean,
Just like
like when they. Like all the cinematography they do around the stadium and showing.
Well, not just that, dude. Now we're seeing AWS give analytics into everything that's happening on the game, the quarterback statistics, how long this ball was thrown, like the rotation.
You're getting
like
Chris interested in football now. He's like, hey, there's
Football
data.
IoT.
There's data. Let's go.
Dude,
man.
I mean, seriously though, it was nuts for me because I think about data for construction, and I just love football to sit at home and I relax. But then I'm like, no shit. Like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Like, your percent completes everything. Well, they put it in AWS, and they're watching. They have sensors watching this all game long and updating to give you these stats. And I'm like, dude,
David's just geeking about this because gentleman came here talking about the AI he built for Amazon and.
Well, no, I mean, I'm geeking out because I geek out, brother. I geek out for technology. I geek out for data, man.
Sports.
Sports, analytics, all the above, man. Cars,
video games.
I'm just a dude.
Just a well-rounded interest.
Yeah,
in
yes,
things.
sir. Yes, sir. I love life.
I like stuff.
I like stuff.
All these industries are changing quite a bit. Talking about football, and everybody's embracing data and analytics and all these sensors. We talked about it briefly at the beginning, but you guys are changing the landscape, realm. You're pushing more into the BIM space.
The landscape of landscape architecture.
I know it's an ecosystem, and there isn't like one tool to rule them all, but they all have something in common, and that gets to, your realm there, the data side of things.
Yeah.
We can talk about the sensor data and stuff like that, but is there any design or analytic data that you guys are trying to push together?
More and more we're trying to extract stuff out. I mean, there's small BIM workflows you can consider for planting design and stuff. That plant has a lot of information and data in it, and then you're scheduling that and kind of running off of other analytics.
So plants as assets almost?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Color, bloom.
Well, we have to run clash detection
requirements
against them, so they have to have root balls and all kinds of stuff like this. I mean, they're an asset.
Absolutely.
They have a life.
Well,
it's a
and
living thing.
It is, but you also think about the design itself. There's analytics in design because, when you're bidding projects to win work for design, how long does it take us to do this? How many changes did we have to make? There's a lot of analytics.
I used to just go survey sites. We did the Flower Mound Riverwalk that they were making. It was 300 acres up there. I went and surveyed, did all that sort of stuff. It was me and pretty much two other guys. And, we're doing all this stuff. We're looking at the designs this is cool, whatever. And we don't think about all the plants and all that. It's not something we think about, but you guys think about this all day?
Sure.
Man.
It's our job.
Yeah. Well, no,
who else?
it's great because,
but
Chris.
Yeah, right. Well, you guys think about it, man. When you go to buy a house, right, and you start looking at the different plants that you just put around your house, like
don't.
is this
I
an
really
annual?
don't.
Is this a perennial?
Does it have
is
enough
this
bedrooms?
shade? Like
Where's the
how
bathrooms?
you got to think about these things as you're going to put like these plants. Like you wanna shape your home, like you want to shape your yard. It's the same thing when you're looking at a building, a commercial building. We do want to make it beautiful. We want to make that area beautiful. We want to make it appealing. But you got to think about, like, what plants are you putting together? If they bloom, do they pollinate? Like, there's so many different factors that go into it.
Yeah. I think one cool example is a project that we had in Austin, and the planting plan changed from the ground floor, actually on the earth, and then multi-stories up. They had different light, wind. You can't have trees on a 70-foot or 70-story, right?
No way.
So so each kind of level was a different eco-region of the Texas kind of plant culture. So
That's
on the
cool.
ground it was nice and lush. Up there it was kind of it's a little kind of more West, West Texas.
That's
and then,
awesome in
desert.
itself, man. Thinking about the
Piney
different
Woods to West
ecosystems and how to
Texas, let's go.
support them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and if you think about too, again, I'm going to go back to farm tech. When you have these drones that can identify a plant by photograph, i.e. weeds, and go down and take care of them, then you start thinking about how the maintenance is going to happen for a building.
Yeah, dude.
Right? The landscape around a building, and like
It's
I said,
FM, yeah.
you've got farm bots that are a Cartesian kind of 3D printer, but they take care of plants kind of thing in a flower bed. But you've got to have the sensor data and the information about the health of those plants, how much water they get, and all that kind of good stuff to get there.
I didn't even think about farm bots. I was blown away because of now we have autonomous lawnmowers. Yeah, those are fun to see on the golf.
I mean,
course.
it's a Roomba lawnmower. Now we have the drawing robots.
Oh the HP site prints. and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
That are all kind of based on same principles.
Tech, yeah.
Right.
Positioning or boundary, either way. Just location, and then a function, and then it uses its own sensors for avoidance and detection.
Positioning.
Yeah. And all those sensors are cheap.
Oh, that's the fun part.
Yeah. I
Start making your own.
I think we were talking about fabrication last night. I think I was telling you guys about my plasma cutter and all that sort of stuff. But it's all just a bunch of cheap sensors all over.
It is.
Yeah, right.
Limit switches.
Limit
That's
like that have been
I can buy
used in video
1,000 of them
game
for like $5.
machines. Yeah. I mean, it's the exact same switch that's under the button in the joystick in a arcade machine, right? And it has been for eons.
Wow. So now as landscape architects, you guys are going to be electricians. You're going to be AI experts. You're going to be
Well-rounded.
Yes.
Well-rounded.
Well, I think it's easy to discount how much technology opportunity there is there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's exciting. It's an exciting time to push.
Well, we'll have to do another episode, maybe 6 months or so. Follow up, see where you guys are at. Maybe I'll give you a little more time. We'll figure it out. But Chris your brain's always moving, dude.
He's on fire, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. This is your first AU, man, and
I loved it.
I don't know. Maybe get a few more conferences like this underneath you. More AI stuff. You're pushing the envelope and see what
He's
you can-
already petitioning me for DevCon in Amsterdam.
Oh, let's go! Yeah,
Heck yeah.
Don't say that. Dave's going. Dave, stop,
Please,
stop.
can I come with you? Let's go. Amsterdam, let's go, bro.
All right, we're gonna cut it here before we say anything we should.
Man, I got so excited right there.
No, I know you did.
I woke right up. Awesome.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having us.
Safe travels,
Yeah,
getting back
thanks for
home.
having us.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.